above the oldest Anarchy server 2B2T Minecraft. A player has built a massive pattern, using nearly 2 million obsidian blocks, and its shadow covers several chunks. I know what you are thinking right now. Why would someone go through such trouble to build this? The reason behind this massive creation is quite interesting, but after I explain it to you, everything will make perfect sense. Actually, this symbol originally started as a team within the server, a small joke to gain fame, but eventually became one of the largest man-made obsidian structures on the entire server. The story behind it involves the members' planned construction goals. Builders placed obsidian day and night, fighting against troublemakers and PvP players brought by traitors, even forcing unarmed new players to mine obsidian for long hours in the factory. This is quite ironic, because the word wall carries a cute meaning in English. But later you will discover, the construction process of this wall can hardly be described as cute. The entire story can only be described as wild. Rewind to October 2020. Two MC players, Beast Machine and Neo Paladin, had been exploring 2B2T for a long time. During this period, they met many like-minded allies, including many highly skilled building players. So they decided to form a group, and invited these new friends they had made. They called themselves the Watchmen, then began constructing a base near the spawn point, host events and spread influence. Things were progressing very smoothly, but after some time, the group realized they needed to find a way to advance further, because there are too many skilled groups active in 2B2T. Standing out among them is no easy task. One method used by past groups was to build in the air near the spawn point, using obsidian to spell out their name or group symbol. Now, if you look down at the spawn point from above, it looks more like a billboard, rather than a digital wasteland full of scars. However, the Watchmen intend to carry on this tradition in their own unique way. First, they decided to choose the construction site at a location slightly farther from the spawn point, so they could have more room for creativity. Then, they decided to build a landmark on a larger scale than any other group, although the largest obsidian monument now still belongs to Spawn Mason. But don't forget, they actually used bot accounts for construction. The Watchmen has no intention of competing with Boring Machine built structures. They decided to break the record for the largest player built obsidian monument. But here is the problem. What should they build? After some brainstorming, a player named the Wood 2 came up with an idea. His username comes from the rapper Pop Smoke, the black artistic word Woo on an album cover. It closely resembles this wall in the sky above 2B2T. Wood 2 claimed that if they aim to build this wall, he could provide at least half of the obsidian needed for construction. Another member named Dank Shurer estimated the potential scale of the project. In terms of the size they envisioned, it would require approximately 2 million blocks of obsidian. The leader of the Watchmen agreed to the proposal. If nothing unexpected happened, a giant wall would be built in the sky above the world. But on the day construction began on this massive sign, an obstacle that completely changed the entire project emerged. The player Wood 2, who promised to bring half of the obsidian, did not show up. On the day construction started, this player vanished without a trace. The team members waited and waited, but no news ever came. In disappointment, the group members conducted some investigation on him. They discovered Wood 2 was actually in 2B2T. With only 6 hours of gameplay time, he was simply a fraud. Couldn't produce any obsidian at all, so he was naturally kicked out of the project by everyone. Then they began to reassess the entire plan. They realized this wall they originally intended to build was completely meaningless to them. Everyone started questioning whether it was necessary to continue. At this moment, a construction player nicknamed KK made a joke. If you rearrange WoW, it becomes Mom. These words suddenly made everything clear to everyone. So they directly decided to change the original construction goal to Mom. Not only could it mock the player who deceived them, this joke might also bring them more attention in the community than expected. Moreover, they wouldn't need to put in extra effort to redesign the pattern. They only needed to use the original design. Just make some positional adjustments. This is a brilliant idea. Everything is settled. A massive Mom will begin construction northwest of the spawn point. But then, they recalled that this structure would require 2 million obsidian blocks. Originally, they believed Wood 2 would solve half the problem. So where should they find the other 1 million obsidian blocks now? You can probably guess what happens. Next, they plan to build an obsidian factory and attract new players to mine shulker boxes. On the 2B2T server, shulker boxes are used as portable obsidian storage, destroyed with a regular diamond pickaxe. It will drop 8 obsidian. New players are forced to break shulker boxes. Eventually they will receive some powerful items as rewards. As the obsidian factory is built, the construction of the massive Mom also begins. The Watchmen knew they had to work against the clock, because this project is very close to the spawn point. Nearby players won't need much time to notice the situation here. The obsidian mined from the factory will be delivered to the builders. Then they will be placed in corresponding positions. Many builders have used baritone to highlight areas where obsidian needs to be placed. This makes the construction work much easier. While the project progresses smoothly, another problem has arisen. The player Wood 2, who was initially kicked out of the project, felt resentful about it, so he planned a secret revenge operation. He began spreading the coordinates of the project on forums, introducing their construction goals to attract troublemakers to hinder their building work. The Watchmen knew the situation was about to get messy, so every member was prepared, fully ready to face potential attackers. As expected, the enemies appeared, and they immediately began destroying the factory and harming workers. The Watchmen fought back with full force, ultimately succeeded in killing their sworn enemies, but the opponents still caused some damage. One member of the Watchmen unfortunately died in the battle, and the Black Key factory was largely reduced to ruins. But Wu's betrayal instead motivated the members to continue their records and breaking determination. So in a way, Wu lifted a rock only to drop it on his own foot. A new Black Key factory was constructed, and one of the builder players, Mouse, He continuously placed black keys for 24 hours. Such dedication is truly admirable. After enduring continuous harassment, a member named Deventer was dispatched to protect workers at the new factory. Thanks to his additional protection, one worker named QLTV single-handedly destroyed over 20,000 shadow chests. That is 160,000 black keys. It is imaginable that he eventually received some very precious items as reward. Two other workers, Paul Lee and Noble Graves, their level of hard work astonished the Watchman team, which led to their promotion from workers to factory guards. As more newcomers were introduced to the factory, and some builders also joined the excavation of shadow chests, the production of black keys was significantly increased. Meanwhile, members discovered that this structure actually only requires 1.8 million black keys, rather than the anticipated 2 million units. This saved them a significant amount of time. On the 5th day of the project's commencement, the second black key factory was subjected to a sudden attack. However, this assault was carried out by another group. They are called the Howie Workers Union. The reason for their attack was the Watchmen had used one of their abandoned bases as a supply point, a very classic territorial dispute. But by this time, O had already grown to a considerable scale. Thus Wu could only cause some insignificant damage. Since O was built at the height limit, withers cannot spawn there and cause destruction. The third black key factory was also completed in a remote hidden location. The builders collected the final 100,000 black keys required there. At dawn on the 6th day, after overcoming numerous difficulties and dangers, this massive O was finally completed. The Watchmen successfully turned the joke into one of the largest artificial black key landmarks on the entire server. If any new players tried to escape the spawn point from the northwest direction now, they would surely be both shocked and confused by this spectacle simultaneously. The Watchmen successfully left a remarkable mark in RBRT's history, and successfully established the group's status on the server.